Hi everybody, welcome back to 10% True. This is not an interview this week, this is just a quick update from me in regards to the channel. Doesn't stop you from liking it, doesn't stop you from subscribing to the channel, and of course if you have any comments about what I'm about to say, then feel free to drop them in the comments field below, or join us on the Discord group that we have going. I'll put a link in the description here. There's some pretty good conversation that happens between a bunch of like-minded individuals through a course of each week. There's an opportunity there as well to get involved in some AMAs, so post questions for any of my future guests. So come along to the Discord group and join us. I took a little break from the channel the end of last year, took about 3 months off. I started strong this year with the interviews on the EF111 side of things, and then talking to Sly McGill about his kills. And I think that reflects a little bit of change of direction in the channel from my point of view. I've been running the channel since I think November 2019. I just hit 5,000 subscribers, so thank you to all 5,000 of you. I'm not sure all 5,000 of you are listening to this, but thank you anyway. If you are one of my subscribers. But that represents fairly slow growth, and I think that's okay. I'm not doing this to make a living, which is why there's no advertising and it's free for you, although tips are much appreciated. You can go to my PayPal tip jar in the description and always send some money my way if you want to, but it's not obligatory. And I like the idea that this content is made available for free. It's not behind a paywall. You don't have to come along and give me money through Patreon in order to access it. So it's free and it will stay that way. But from my point of view, I think I need to move away a little bit from the sort of what I would call a monograph equivalent of an interview. So in aviation writing terms, if you pick one aircraft and talk about it in a book, that's called a monograph. And I think I was doing quite a lot of that from an interview point of view, talking to somebody about flying a particular aircraft, or maybe flying one or two particular aircraft, but over a period of time. And I think there's a lot of other channels that do that, and they do that really well. Not necessary for me to really push that line. But one of the things that I have as an interest personally is storytelling. And I think that my focus going forward is going to be more about telling stories. So, for example, the EF111 story, having just said I'm not doing a monograph, was really about telling the story of that aeroplane because it has never been told before. My next interviews are going to be around the birth of the F4G and the AGM-88 harm. So those are really stories about things that happened rather than deep dive technical analyses of a particular aircraft system. And I think that's where I'm going to go with the channel. I think the other thing I'm going to do as well is move away from the pressure to constantly be releasing on a given cycle, a given cadence. And I know that some people won't like that. Some people will want to have a predictable stream of entertainment or podcasting that comes out every Friday or every other Friday. And I'm sorry to disappoint those people, but I think that in order for me to maintain the quality and for me to do it in a way that I'm really passionate about, I need to be able to just go where the stories are and be content with the fact that maybe I won't release every fortnight, and maybe I won't even release something every month. So that would be another big change. I've also got some competing priorities. Some of you may not know this, but I was an aerospace and defence journalist for about 14 years or so. I published 16 books, and some of my books are out of print. And as a writer, that represents an opportunity for me to go and make some more money from them, because once they're out of print, the publisher has an obligation to revert the rights back to you. So one of my books, in fact, my first big book was this book here, F-15E Strike Eagle Weather Attack Aircraft, which I think is probably still the definitive text on the F-15E, although I wrote it in 2003, so it's now 19 years out of date. And I think there's an opportunity for me to go back and update that book and bring it back out as a digital publication. One of the other books I think is this one here. Well, I know it's mine, the B-52 Haynes Manual. I wrote that. I think that's out of print as well. I need to check my email, but from Haynes, but I think that's one of the ones that I'll be doing. There are a couple of other books I co-authored, so I did an SR-71 book with Paul Crickmore, and then my favourite book of all time, which is the F-15E, the F-15C rather, Eagle Engaged book that I wrote with Doug Dildy, Disco, former Eagle driver, and he and I are planning on updating that and re-releasing that probably at some point next year. But anyway, those are some indications of some of the other projects that I'm working on, and there may be some opportunities for me to work with some of the flight sim community, the developer community, in regards to sort of partnering and maybe having alliances with them and bundling my books in with their modules. And those are the other things that I'm going to be doing. Anyway, that was my quick channel update. I hope you're all well. Thank you for continuing to support the channel. I look forward to bringing you lots more good quality, free content in the future. Take care.